is Noel. What are the words to that song?
I had a dream about her.
Wait, just stop.
She rang my bell.
Got gym class in heaven.
What is going on?
There is, it's like in your eyeball. Can you feel that?
Yes.
Oh. I hated everything about that. There was like boogies on top of it. It came from inside the eye. Don't remember, sometimes that makes this jiggle out. I don't have a clever name for this.
What?
This is what we're doing. Think of a clever name.
Fostered 5.
Is that what you want to call it?
No. You told me to come up with ideas and I throw an idea and you just throw it back in my face.
But I asked, is that really what you want to call it? And then you said no. If you had been like, yep, that's the one, I would have been like, okay. 5 games that we are talking about.
Snapshots.
Board game snapshots. Board game slapshots, because we're Canadian. Just kidding.
It doesn't make any sense.
You don't make any sense. Let's do it. Snapshots it is. Are you ready?
Yep.
Wait. Wet the whistle. Ready. Hello everyone and welcome back to Foster the Meeple, a channel all about
board games
and
board gamey things.
Exactly. We are here today to bring you a new series. And that series is Board Game Snap. Ow, I bit my tongue. And that really hurt.
That's not what it's called. It's not called Board Game Snap. Ow, my tongue.
Ow, my tongue. And the new series is called Board Game Snapshots, where we are going to do some quick reviews, some quick done well, do betters, DWs, DBs of 5 different board games that maybe we just, we don't have time to give a dedicated video to every game that we play. And in our monthly wrap-ups, we're going through it pretty quick because we play a lot of games. So we wanted to dive in a little bit deeper on some games, but not full deep and not as shallow as...
What?
I don't know where I was going.
I don't know where you're going with that either.
We wanted to give you a bit more of an in-depth look at a couple of these games.
Yeah, and share a little bit more of the games we play.
Yeah. A little overview of the game, what it does well, what it could do better.
Cool. Me first? You go first.
Oh, well, we're doing it together. Doesn't matter.
But in terms of the math, you should go first.
Okay, math. Okay, so the first game up that we are going to talk about today is going to be Scout. Scout is from Oink Games, designed by Kai Kajino, and I already know that everybody's going to make fun of the way that I talk about this game because the Table Knots crew laughed at me when I taught it to them. Yes, I say Scout, not Scout.
I don't. I say Scout.
That's weird.
You're weird.
Where are you even from?
I don't know. Well, I know where I'm from, but what does that have to do?
I don't know. Oink Games are from they're a Japanese publisher, and they have a ton of small box games. So they're all like this size. Mm-hmm. It's pretty much strictly a card game. There are some tokens that are within it.
I think it's just scoring tokens, isn't it?
Yeah, and then there's the Scout and Show token and the money tokens and stuff like that. In this game, the theme, it's a loose theme, but you're essentially going to a circus and you are scouting talent or you are showing your talent. The theme is not super prevalent in this game. No, it's more so just for the terminology.
Yeah, the cards have names on them of talented
and what
individuals.
They do, but we'll get into that later. So in Scout, everybody gets a hand of cards. Depending on how many players you're playing with it, that will determine how many cards you get. Once you receive your hand of cards, you cannot rearrange them. Mm-hmm. The only thing that you could do at the very beginning is decide if you want to use your cards face up, or you can flip them and there's numbers on the opposite side as well. So that is the only time that you're rearranging your cards, and you're not even rearranging them. For the game, you are laying out different sets of cards, so either a set or a run, and you're trying to defeat the active set by either playing a higher set, a larger run, or more cards. Mm-hmm. And whoever runs out of cards from their hand first wins the round. You play as many rounds as there are players, and whoever has the most points at the end wins. There's 2 actions. You can scout, where you are actually like taking a card from the active set, which thematically means you're scouting somebody from the circus for your circus.
You're scouting out talent.
Mm-hmm. Or you can show, which is you are showing your talent, where you're laying a higher set or run. Or you could do once a round, scout and show. So you can take a card and then lay down your cards. Mm-hmm. That's it. The game is very simple. It plays very, very quickly. So let's talk a little bit about what Scout does well. So number 1, it is very quick to learn, quick to teach, easy to play, and it is super, super fun. everyone that we have showed this game to so far absolutely loves it. And I don't know why, because it's not complicated at all. It's literally just you're laying down sets of cards or runs of cards, but it's got a lot of interaction because you're, stealing people's cards or kind of scouting their cards and then giving them money, which is giving them points. And it's just like a very upbeat, fun game. Why do you look so concerned? Well,
I'm not concerned. I'm just listening to what you're saying.
Okay, I just think that this is a little box full of fun.
It's very snappy. It's a very snappy game. In terms of what it could do better, it's kind of similar to some other like small box card games where like the first round or two, most people are like, I get it, but I don't get it. It takes a few hands for people to be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got it now. Even with a good teach, I think there's just like, it's one of those ones you have to play and then it's like, oh, okay, I get the mechanics now. Not the game's fault, but I do think it's hard to find.
The theming could be better.
But I mean, look at the size of the box.
I know, but even like the art on the cards, like one of the people that you'll be recruiting, let's call her Tiffany. It'll say Tiffany at the top and then there's a tiny little trampoline that's about this big that tells you that she's a trampoline jumper or whatever. I just think they could have done a little bit more.
Maybe a little bit more card art.
Yeah, a little bit more card art or theming, or
but,
I don't know.
I think they stick to their aesthetic. And this is their aesthetic. So. And
really, like, I have like no other complaints about it.
It's very good.
I love this game.
It's a very, very, yeah.
We've showed it to like 4 different sets of people at this point, and everybody has loved it and has wanted to go buy it immediately after they played it. So that is Scout.
Next up, we have from Flatout Games, designed by Alexander Pfister and Andreas Pelikan. One of those pronunciations. Isle of Skye, from Chieftain to King. This was sent to us for review from Asmodee Canada, so thank you to them for that. In Isle of Skye, you are essentially placing down tiles and building out a kingdom. There is a bidding mechanic wherein you're placing 3 tiles in front of you, and you will have a screen in front of you where you are bidding on 2 of those tiles with money and 1 to discard. And then simultaneously, each player is going to remove their screen, discard the tile that each have chosen to remove from the game, and then in player order, you are allowed to buy one of the remaining tiles from the other player for whatever they have put as the value.
Yeah.
And then the remaining tile is purchased, so whatever you bid for that tile is put into the general supply, and you get that tile, and then you place the tiles in your kingdom. And that's basically it.
And there's also round objectives, so each round you're going to be scoring on one of 4 different objectives or multiple objectives for that round.
And those are all randomized each game. So think kind of like cartographers.
Cartographers.
Cartographers mixed with a little bit of King Domino and a bidding element.
On the back of the box, it says it's a quick tile placement and auction game. Little rules, lots of fun, and woolly sheep.
There is woolly sheep.
Done well. I would say it was easy, super easy to learn. It's got a nice thematic. I like that there's a lot of variability within it. The objective tiles change up every game, and I like the hidden auction aspect of it. So you've got money and you're like setting the prices for your tiles, and there's a little bit of take that because I can discard a tile that I think Jeff probably wants and I know I don't want him to get, or I can set the price really high for something that I know he might want. Yeah, there's a little bit of take that in there that I appreciate.
Yeah, it's interesting that you each get to see each other's tiles. So to Jamie's point, then I could be like, all right, I think Jamie's going to want this middle tile, so I'm going to discard that.
Yeah.
So she can't get it. It's just, I really like that hidden bidding mechanic. It was really, really interesting.
And then in terms of do better, I think it's obvious. I believe the art could be better.
I should mention we play this at 2-player.
Yeah.
I'd like to obviously try it at a higher player count to see
it goes 2 to 5.
What that changes. Jamie's right. The art is not...
Nah.
I don't mind it, but I know it's not Jamie's cup of tea.
I think for me, I would still rather play King Domino over this. I think it's kind of a bit more of a complex version of that game, and if I want that kind of game, I'm more likely to lean more towards like King Domino, but I do enjoy this game.
If you want something snappy, I don't know if this is the game I'd pull out. It probably would be King Domino, but I think this is a good variant. And I don't mean that in terms of like this is just a variant of King Domino, but I do think that it adds a little bit more strategy and nuance to the game if you are looking for a little bit more of a brain burn, I guess.
Yeah.
That is Isle of Skye from Flatout Games. Games. And yeah, I enjoyed it.
Next up, we have Abstract Academy from Flatout Games, and this was designed by many people. Molly Johnson, Robert Melvin, and Sean Stanwich. Kind of like sandwich.
Molly Johnson.
Molly Johnson and Joanne McLeod. Wait, Hal Johnson and Joanne McLeod.
No, I'm thinking of the Canada Heritage moment. Molly, sir. Molly Johnson.
Patrick O'Neill.
Kathleen Moyen.
Kathleen Moyen.
If you're not from Canada, you're not going to know what we're talking about.
So Abstract Academy was sent to us for review from Flatout Games, so thank you to Flatout for sending this to us. It is a completely strictly card game. There are only cards in this box. This is an area control card game where during each round you're going to be given different objective cards, and you're building out kind of like a collective tableau of cards on the table that have different colors on them. You're basically trying to build out different patterns. So there's blue, red, and yellow. And let's just say one of your objectives is to have the largest territory of yellow in your region. As you're building out the tableau, nobody owns any region until you get to a certain amount of cards. So you are trying to force others to put cards into your area where you're going to be able to score them. You're trying to put cards into somebody else's territory area that might screw them over or might block things off. So it is a very kind of like take-thatty simple card placement game. It's very abstract. It does have the theme of art. However, the only like relation to that I see is kind of like how the objectives are worded, or like somebody every round is the teacher's pet and they get to decide like certain things. So that is Abstract Academy. It's hard to describe.
Yeah, I think the only thing I would add is like where Jamie's mentioning like you're scoring your area. So you would score the 2 rows closest to you based off of the grid that everyone's building out. And that's where you would take the objective cards and say, okay, how much yellow do I have? Do I have like, and there's patterns you have to make and that sort of thing. It's Jamie's point. It's very abstract.
So I will say we have only played this at 4. It does play 2 or 4. So you can't play it at anything else other than 2 or 4. So we did play this at 4. In terms of what it does well, I like that it's travel size.
Yeah, you could literally take that anywhere.
So I like that it's travel size. You could take it anywhere. I think that the theme of it, though, I do, like I said, it is kind of like loose. I like the idea that it's kind of like an art class and you're building out like this piece of very, very abstract art. And I do like how the area control aspect works, because I might place a card down thinking, oh yeah, this is going to be in my territory, and then somebody could add a card on top or on bottom, shifting where my territory is and then like influencing how I'm scoring my personal objectives.
In terms of do better, this isn't the type of game for me.
Yeah, I don't think this is the type of game really for either of us.
I enjoyed it. If someone pulled it out, I'd play it, but abstract games are a struggle for me in general. And this one I just was kind of like, it's fine. Didn't blow me away. There's other better area control games to play, in my opinion. I do appreciate the fact that they tried to fit in an area control game with nothing but cards and in a very short period of time.
I think in terms of like how much I love all of the other Flatout games that I've played, I found this one to be just a little bit disappointing. Like the abstractness of it was very abstract for me, and it took me a little bit to grasp the rules. I read the rule book like 3 times and I was like, I don't really understand what this is saying. So Tyler and Ilya actually taught it to us, which definitely helped. But yeah, I mean, I think that it's fine. If you love abstract card games, definitely give it a go and see if this is something that you like. My only other do better is this box.
Yeah, like there is,
it's terrible.
It fits exactly.
It's very hard to get the cards back out.
Yeah, that's a tight squeeze.
Yeah, that is Abstract Academy.
Next up, from Portal Games, we have Neuroshima Hex, designed by, I'm going to butcher this, I'm going to say Michel Oratz. This was sent to us from Portal Games, so thank you Portal Games for sending us this. Neuroshima Hex is a asymmetrical skirmish game. Battling game.
Yeah.
We were trying to figure out how to define this yesterday, and we were struggling because I haven't played anything quite like it. You are playing a asymmetrical faction where you are trying to destroy each other's base. Each base has 20 hit points, and you're trying to get the other person's down to 0. Each hex that you're going to place out on your battle map is different. So there's different faction members, different military types that do different things, and ultimately each hex will have special abilities in order to shoot at range or do a melee attack in certain directions. There's also specific events that can happen in the game, like if you place a tile that allows you to battle, then a battle commences immediately with everyone that you currently have out on the board. And then there's initiative order from 3 down to 1, and I absolutely adored this.
Yeah, we loved it.
I knew I was going to like it. I was very shocked at how much Jamie enjoyed it, just based off the artwork.
Yeah, it's almost like, it's kind of like chess-like almost. Like you kind of have to look at the boardscape and be like, what do I have out there? Is it time to battle? Is this a good time to battle, or should I discard the battle card because, you know, Jeff's got way more units out? I don't know. There's something about it that it was not difficult to learn. It was easy to pick up and easy to just kind of dive right into, and I loved it.
There's a ton of factions. We just have what I think is the base game.
Yeah, so it comes with 4 factions.
And I think there's like 21 factions you can get for this game. And each one has a different strength. Like mine was...
Yours was
I had a
toughness.
lot of toughness. Because normally one hit and a soldier's gone.
Yeah.
But mine had shields, so you'd have to hit it 2 or 3 times. They could just stay on the board a bit longer. And Jamie played
I had a very well balanced.
Balanced, yeah.
So it had a little bit of everything, not a lot of shooting. So there's some characters, like Jeff said, that have range, some that are just melee.
Done well, do better. In terms of like those types of games that I've played, like we were trying to find an example, and the closest I could come to, or we could come to, was like Hive.
Yeah, because each little unit has a special way that it can do things.
It's just a really unique puzzle with a really cool range and melee like trigger. Ultimately, you have to determine what is this soldier going to be best suited for in this circumstance, and that could change the next round. I really liked the theme, you know, post-apocalyptic world where you're just, it just felt like a battle game.
Yeah.
It just felt like a really, really cool skirmishy battle game for 2 players. You can play this at 4. Yeah. I feel like it would get chaotic. Everyone shooting everyone. It's just like crazy.
Yeah. The setup is like nothing. Literally nothing. It takes like 2 seconds to set up. The game lasts for like 30 minutes, and it's just like action packed. And in terms of do better, the only thing that I can think of specifically is I don't know how much variability there really is within the different factions. I didn't, even though like Jeff's was like toughness and mine was balanced, I didn't really feel like I saw that so much, but we haven't played the game enough for me to really notice that. I kind of wish that each faction would have maybe even a more unique or more enhanced, like only your faction can do this thing.
The only thing for me is it can get confusing in terms of initiative order, like figuring out who's going in what spot, because there's also things you can put on the board to increase someone's initiative order. During the battle phase, there is a little bit of like, we ended up just kind of going through in rows in order to make it more manageable, because if you start being like, well, this person's over here and he's got a 3 initiative and then there's one here, it can get very confusing. I really, really enjoyed this. Really am looking forward to playing more of it.
Last one up for today is going to be Night of the Ninja, and this was sent to us for review from Brotherwise. Brotherwise is the publisher, and I believe it was designed by Justin Gary. Okay, Night of the Ninja is a social deduction type of game where everybody around the table is going to be dealt a card that lets them know whether they are going to be part of the Lotus clan or the Crane. If you play with, I believe, 5 players, then there's also a Ronin figure that gets added in that is kind of like a neutral figure. So the goal is, if you are the Lotus clan, as an example, you want to kill or get out all of the Crane clan so that your clan can be the winners. So that's your goal. If you're the Crane, it's the same but the opposite. Ideally, you're trying to get out the member of the clan with the highest number card, and then that way they're more likely to lose. And then if you're the Ronin, your goal is to just survive. You don't really care who wins one way or the other, you just need to survive. So when you're choosing cards, you're actually drafting cards to add into your hand, and then you're going to go around and you're going to say, okay, all of the spies reveal yourself. So the spies reveal their cards, and then they play those actions and they do the thing, whether that's, you know, I'm going to secretly look at this person's card, or I'm going to blindly assassinate this person. So you're going to go around with all of the different types of cards. Then at the very end, which clan is left standing wins.
Yeah, you're trying to protect your like highest ranked clan member, which would be your 1 rank dying clan member where you don't want them to die. If you're like a 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, you don't want to die, but you really want to protect your highest rank.
You could sacrifice yourself. Yeah. Ultimately, like during the game, you don't know who's on your team.
No.
So you can try and like fool people. So if you happen to see, like if I looked at Jeff's card and I see that he's actually not part of mine, I can pretend that I too am a Lotus, and you definitely shouldn't kill me because we're on the same team. So there's a lot of table talk that goes on within this game.
Yep.
And it changes up how it plays depending on the number of players that you're playing with. We actually had an opportunity to play this when we were at Dice Tower West with Johnny O'Neill, who is one of the owners of Brotherwise Games. And we played it at 6, and then we also played it at 5. So we played it both with the Ronin card as well as not with the Ronin card. I personally really liked playing it with the Ronin card. I was the Ronin, and I was just like, please just don't kill me. I will support you in whatever way you need. What does this game do well, Jeffrey?
If you like any of those social deduction games like Coup, you will enjoy this. I actually think I preferred this to Coup. I really, really had a good time with this. The downfall is, I think the player count for us is tough.
Yeah, it's 4 to 11. So you can play this. Like, this is like truly a party game.
Yeah.
And I do think that the more players that you have, the funner the game will be for you.
Very fast game. I think the 2 times we played it, it was like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Max.
Exactly. I mean, I personally love the theme. The artwork on the cards is amazing. This was probably one of the social deduction games that like I felt like people were actually like that we played, that people were actually really kind of getting into it and like trying to like, you know, lie or, you know, not trust each other and that kind of thing. And I also like how you're not just out for yourself unless you're the Ronin. Yeah. It's like, okay, I need to figure out who's on my team, but you don't know who to trust. So there's just kind of like this whole unease as you're playing the game, because you really are like, I don't know. And then in terms of do better, like Jeff said, I think the biggest thing for us is going to be the player count. And I don't think that I would want to play this at 4. I'd like to play this at a higher player count, like 6+.
Yeah.
That's not a player count that we have.
I think that's a tough player count for anyone, to be honest. Yeah. But this would be a perfect game if you
take to work.
Yep. This is a very, very good party game. And that's coming from someone that doesn't necessarily like party games that much.
So those are 5 snapshots of 5 games that we have played recently and kind of what our thoughts are on them. Let us know down below if you've played any of these games and what you think about them. We would love to know. And we're gonna maybe try to do this like once a month, where we'll just pick 5 games, or maybe even our Patreon community will pick the 5 games for us. I think we're gonna do the Patreon thing, yeah. If you're interested in buying board games, like any of the many that we mentioned today, you should first start by checking your friendly local gaming store. And for us here in Halifax, that is
Boardroom Game Cafe.
Yes, it is.
You didn't mess it up this time.
I didn't mess it up this time. You're welcome. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you see,
please subscribe.
We hope to see you again soon. And now we say goodbye. Goodbye.
Later days.
We didn't talk about the structure of this, and usually when I start doing something, you're like, and either Scout it. What? Did she come downstairs?
I saw her tail.
I hear her clickety clacks. Hey, what are you doing? You're gonna have to lock her up there. Okay.
Norn, I'm asking you, if you're going to criticize, you must come with a suggestion, please. What do you think would better serve this video?
Whatever.
So this is an area control guard. It's interesting because why would it be a lowercase
I know.
t?
I don't know if it's Michelle.
I think just say Michelle.
I don't know if it's Michelle or Michat.